So where did that year go then? It's a year ago today. I sat in this room with this t-shirt on, holding up these two books, saying welcome to my first ever YouTube video. And a year on, I think I've done in excess of about 60 videos. I have enjoyed making every single one. Today I thought I would just tell you a few things that I've learned since doing YouTube. Also, I'm going to show you some fun items just to make you chuckle. But most of all, it's to thank you so much for being loyal to me this past year. These two books, if you look at my first video, which is still out there, was my inspiration from sewing from when I was about 8, I think. They're early 1970s books. I think I've shown you many times, but my logo actually is still the pincushion. Now, I'm cross with myself actually because I thought for my anniversary I should make something else from these books, which I really must. Maybe next time. So what are the few things that I have learnt about YouTube? Number one has to be that the sewing YouTube community is the best community out there. Of course, the hashtag Friday Sews was started by Jen from Today in Jen's Sewing Room, and it's a huge beast. It's so many people talking on a Friday under the hashtag Friday Sews about everything we make. But she has helped to get together a sewing community. And when I say the YouTube sewing community is the best, I don't just mean the people that produce the videos. I mean everybody, those loyal people that just talk to us every week, keep us going. And another thing is how if you're stuck on something or you're not sure, somebody knows the answer out there. Everybody has different opinions, but it's just marvellous when we get suggestions and ideas for things that we haven't thought about. So YouTube sewing community, the best of all. Another thing I have learnt is how I speak. Now, before I did YouTube, I couldn't even stand to listen to myself on an answering machine message, or hated it. I say so and now a lot. Every time I seem to do a new bit on my videos, I go now, and I can't think of any other words to use. So yeah, if you go back and count some of my now and so, you'll be amazed. The reason I hesitated starting a YouTube channel, I thought about it for I think about 18 months. I've started watching Jen when she started this hashtag Friday Sews. I started off about 4 years ago watching Viv Mom Sewing, which I know a lot of you do, and I'll come back to that in a minute. But yeah, the reason I hesitated because I really didn't know what my friends and family would think. I thought they would be so embarrassed of me doing it, but completely the opposite. Now, I know I probably said this story before, but I thought about it for a long time, and my husband was due to go on a business trip, and I had planned the minute he left to film my first video, and that's actually what I did. He was in the car on the way to the airport, and I got everything out and I gave it a go. And I didn't tell my family for about 2 weeks. I remember pressing the upload button and absolutely panicking, and I contacted Jen and I said, what have I done? Oh my goodness. And she said, no, calm down, no. She watched it, she said, no, it's fine, leave it there. And I did, and the rest is history. Now, I know a lot of you YouTube creators have been out there for years and years, but for me, the first year is quite an achievement. I've also learnt that I'm okay at sewing. I'm okay, I can sew. The reason I hesitate when I say this, I think I said it in my very first video, that I had the most horrible sewing teacher when I was at school. She was, I think maybe I just chatted too much in class, but she said, you're never going to be good at sewing, and kind of drummed it into me. I actually failed my sewing exam, but for the rest of my life I still sewed, and go figure, as they say. I have no idea why, but I've just kept sewing. So I am okay at sewing. I can do some things, and that I have learnt by doing YouTube videos. Those are the things that I have learnt. Now, going forward, let me see, it's my birthday in a couple of weeks, and really all I want is just to sort my sewing room out again. It is a mess. It's got a massive double bed in the middle of it, which I think the time has come to move out. Right at the end of this video, I'm going to leave you. Now, I've never shown you before. I've only shown you corners of my sewing room, but I have actually tidied it up a couple of months ago, and I took some filming of just how I work. So I'm going to put that right at the back and see what you think. But hopefully, going forward, when I get rid of the double beds, it's going to be a much better space to film, and also just a bit more breathing room because I've got a couple more machines now than I used to have. Now, this is the fun part. I made a dress in the 1980s to go. My husband, who was my boyfriend then, we went to a ball. Now, it's something I'd never been to before, and I didn't have much money, and I got together with my mum, helped me quite a bit, I remember, to make a ball gown. It was a pattern. I have no idea what the pattern is. It's such a shame. I wish I had it. But I think it was given to her by a friend of hers. And we got together and we made this ball gown. Now, I put the filming in. Now, don't worry everybody, I was 20 years old then, and it looks like I fit into it, but when I turn around and look at the back, I do not fit into it. And I asked my husband to try and do it up, and he said, there is no way that this zip is going up, which I was a bit upset about. But then again, he said, mind you, there's no way I could get into the suit that I wore back then either. So that's fair. This was the dress. Listen to that fabric. Is that 80s fabric or what? I think it's taffeta. This dress, I've never done anything like it since. It's lined. Yes, Jen, can you believe I actually lined something? It's got boning in, with boning channels. It's got 3 layers. Look at all this gathering I must have done. 3 layers, boning. I'd even made this little, I don't even know how I did that, out of ribbon, I think. That little, because we wouldn't have had YouTube back then. But yeah, little flower on the top. I've kept it all these years. I'm really glad of it. Oh, listen to that. Anyway, I thought I would give you a laugh by showing you this. I dug it out of the loft. It's very crumpled, and it can now go back for there for about 30 odd years. Something else I wanted to show you, and I'll put the photo of the new look dress up. But so as I said, I watched Viv Mum. That's where I started on YouTube, and she gave me the confidence to wear stuff I have sewn outside, because before then I would not wear something out because I thought it screamed homemade every time you wore something that you'd sewed yourself. But for my daughter's wedding, which was 7 years ago, I had a dress made. I didn't want to look the same as everybody else, so I got a dress made. And I was not pleased with the hemline of it. The fabric was beautiful and probably something I couldn't have got hold of, but I was not pleased. And that's when I thought, you know, I could do better. I could do this myself and I could do it better. So when my son got married a few years later, I decided I was going to pluck up the courage and make my wedding outfit for my son's wedding, which I did, and to this day it's still the favourite thing I have ever made. So if you see in the video, I made a little shawl to go over the top of it. Now I couldn't find a pattern for anything, so I ordered a cheap one off Amazon, and I took it apart and made pattern pieces out of it, and then got this beautiful fabric, I can't remember what it's called, and made it up. And I really did a good job of it because I did French seams, just a little waterfall. The wedding was in June, so we weren't sure what the weather was going to be like. Natural fact, it was sweltering. But yeah, I was really happy with that. And this dress, still my favourite. Now, it's probably the only time I've sewn with lace But the good thing about it is the lace and the dress are sewn together, so it's not like a lace overlay. I highly recommend this dress pattern if you need something that's a bit dressy. I got hold of this beautiful lace. It's with the scalloped edge on the bottom. Underneath, I went through a lot of different fabrics, but I chose that colour in the end, just a lining fabric, and the two together made this beautiful colour. And the ribbons around the waist are meant to be skew-if. It's not just me. That was the design if you look on the pattern envelope. But to this day, I am so pleased with this. I've never worn it since. Yeah, there are a few things I know now that I would tweak, like a narrow shoulder adjustment on the back for one of them. But I was really happy. It's one of these I'll always keep because that's probably one of the best dresses I've made. The last fun thing I'm going to show you. My son is probably going to kill me for this. I can't find a photo of my husband in it, but one year we decided to have an Austrian Christmas. So I made some Austrian outfits. For myself, I used this one, Burda 7870. And for my son and husband, I used Burda 7290, the Lederhosen. Now this is the only photo I can find to the moment. He's gonna kill me. Hilarious. That was a kind of corset that I made for myself with this overskirt and this long skirt, and him the Lederhosen. If you're wondering what that is on the floor, we actually bought a snowmaking machine because contrary to belief, we don't get snow at Christmas in the UK. But yeah, I had to show you that for the laugh. To celebrate my 1 year, I have a stack of patterns that I am going to send to anybody that would like them. I'll show you them very, very quickly. Most of them are actually new look. You've got a skirt pattern, dress, skirt again. I told you I'd show them. Skirt again, full skirt. That's either wrap over trousers or wrap over skirt. Got knit pattern there, knit skirt on top. A very adaptable pattern there, some trousers, a top and a sort of cardigan sort of thing. And a wrap dress. Now the sizes do range on all of these patterns from 6. The highest it goes is 22. If you would like these, please let me know in the comments. Now I haven't advertised that I'm doing a pattern review because I want these patterns to go to a genuine viewer. I know if you put pattern review in the title or my thumbnail, then I'll attract a lot of people that maybe don't watch me all the time. So I'd like these patterns to go to somebody that watches me and has been loyal. I couldn't do a year anniversary video without mentioning some of the people I have met in this past year. Not just other YouTubers, but obviously viewers. I've met a couple in the UK, that's Adam and Jen from One Girl Creates, and I've met way more in America, which is crazy. But wow, I've had some fun times meeting all these people. And do you know what? We never talk about sewing. How crazy is that? We talk about everything else, but we don't talk about sewing. Thank you so much for being with me for this past year, and I hope you will be with me maybe for the next year. I won't be changing the channel much. I can't promise more. I'll be doing lots more sewing for myself, for my family as ever, and showing you the fails and the successes along the way, and also my frustrations. Thank you again, and I'm going to leave you with photos, a tour of my little sewing room that hopefully in the next year will look very different. Bye bye for now, and thank you!